Hello, science heads, and welcome back to Science 2.0, the show wherein we look at the most interesting topics of the day. I've kind of run out of scientific topics like Bigfoot and the aliens to talk about on this channel, so today I'd like to venture over to the side of politics once again and have a talk about these horrible shootings which have been happening lately, both in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio, which happened only a few days ago, if I recall. Now, in these times, it's common for people to say, well, by golly, you Republicans are so insensitive to the topic. And the fact is, we Republicans are not. We don't want the guns to go away, but we're sensitive because, because we are. And Trump, especially, was very dignified when he went to El Paso and insulted the mayor and talked about how weak the mayor is, and then talked about the lives that were lost. Trump is a good president. He knows what to do. He knows what's on his schedule. He handles things brilliantly. Like the Charlottesville rallies, what a leader. He's like Barry Goldwater. Anyway, the point is, you fellows over on the left might think, well, by golly, there are lots of shootings because it's easy to buy weapons. But actually, the brilliant correspondents over at Fox News have got more interesting theories. With me here today on the porch is Ben Shapiro, and we're going to have a nice little discussion here. How you doing, Ben?
Well, I think that there are a couple of things.
Okay, that's real nice. Well, the thing is, on Fox News, they've come up with several theories. It might be violent video games, such as Pac-Man. As we all know, Pac-Man encourages ghost eating, which is unholy. So that might contribute somewhat to it. Then, of course, we've got the problem of games like Pong, which, when the sticks hit the ball, it kind of encourages violence. And then we've got such things as evil comic books, violent comic books, violent movies, violent books. Everything is violent except the Bible, which is the least violent book. There's no violence in it, believe me. What do you think, Ben?
A Breitbart reporter, a female reporter, was grabbed on the arm by Corey.
So the thing is, and of course, one of the main theories which the Fox News correspondents, such as Ben here, put forward, is that part of why people commit crimes these days is because they're not taught to fear the Lord. If they are taught to fear the magic Sky Father, then they'll be less likely to break his rule, which says no murder, because they'll think, oh, if I murder people, I will go to hell, because, atheists don't have any sense of morality. Now, the thing is, we are very concerned about this, and as Ben Shapiro said in the Andrew Neil debate, where he leaves not because he's a coward, but because he has integrity and dignity, Ben pointed out that that there's a Republican thought movement, right, Ben?
You have a very strong debate that goes on inside sort of
right.
the conservative halls of intelligentsia.
So the thing is, we're having very fierce debates, we Republicans, about what to do about these shootings. And the one thing that we're never willing to consider, of course, is the fact that you can buy a gun. That's the one thing we're not willing to consider. We'll blame it anywhere we can. Atheism, video games, books, movies, comic books, anything. But we Republicans, we really go at the problem, right? We're very direct, isn't that right, Ben?
Why don't you just say that you're on the left?
I'm a big fan of you, Ben. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest on tonight's show. So anywho, like I was saying, the thing is, I saw the cover of Time magazine, and it said enough, and there were a bunch of sites of the mass killings imprinted on it. And, I pushed the Time magazine to the side, and instead I went for 5280 magazine, the magazine of Denver. And within it, there was an article on Columbine 20 years later. What I think the media is best at doing is looking at the Columbine massacre and keeping you updated on what's happened since then 20 years ago, and, saying that the Columbine massacre is still relevant. We need to give Dylan Klebold so much attention, and especially, the articles inside were very insightful. There was this one lady who was vacationing in Thailand, she says, and she saw the kiddos coming out of Columbine on that fateful day, hands held over their heads, and she says that she felt terrified even though she was in Thailand. I certainly identify with that fella. It's very important that the media just keeps this coverage on these shootings going for as long as possible. It definitely keeps us informed. We need to be informed about all of them. Anywho, what do you think about that, Ben?
Media seem to have a double standard when it comes to covering certain politicians.
Yeah, like I said, he's got some really interesting perspectives. Anyway, like I was saying, beautiful night. Just beautiful. Look at that.
About what is the appropriate action to take with regard to the medical system. Should global warming be considered a real threat, or should global warming be considered something?
Anyway, like I was saying, the point is, that Trump cannot be blamed for thinking that instead of happening in Dayton, Ohio, the shooting took place in Wichita, because he is a busy fella, and or whatnot, and he's got things to do. He can't just go around consoling people all the time. That's not his job or anything. But he handled it very well and assured the people that there would be no background checks, which I think is very comforting in a time like that. Overall, I think the Republican view on gun control is very, very skewed by the SJW commies. What do you think, Ben?
Only the left has new and decent ideas.
So nice to have a guest on the show.
Technology will solve.
Anyway, like I was saying,
as for
solving that,
there's a rich intellectual debate on the right about nationalism versus patriotism, for example, or populism versus free marketeerism. That debate is happening on the right. It's sort of
anti-marijuana,
the right in America is bereft of ideas,
whatever
but the left is full of ideas.
goes out
Number
to
one,
you and
not all
says,
ideas are good ideas.
you just ought to
AOC
fear
is
the
pretty good
Lord.
evidence of that.
The main problem
I'm a big fan of some old ideas
is
myself
not that we
I think
sell
are pretty
guns
good.
like
But
crazy.
beyond that,
the
I
NRA
think
is
that
funded
it is
by
intellectual,
Smith & Wesson.
intellectual
The
sneering of the
problem
highest
is
order.
that you don't fear God, and you don't, there is not enough family value because too many of you are, too many of you couples are, no family values. And the thing is, that's bad, and your children will not grow up to be good fellas unless you teach them to fear the Lord, and if they shoot people, they will go to hell. Never mind about prison. I mean, hell is a thing, you know, obviously. Anywho, anything you'd like to add on that last note, Ben?
There is actually a hunger for different ideas. The monolithic nature of the United States media is pretty evident in terms of its politics.
Alright, that about does it. I'm going to wrap up this episode of Science 2.0 with a really fun fact. There's a helicopter. Can you hear it? They're spying on me. They're spying on me. Listen. They're spying on me. I gotta go. Thanks for watching.